Imagine waking up to a world in chaos. Do you stay put or do you flee to safety? Today we're navigating the treacherous terrain of this life-altering decision. In a perfect world we would never have to make such choices. But the reality is, we live in an unpredictable world where disaster can strike at any moment, forcing us to make snap decisions that could mean the difference between life and death. This is the decision dilemma: to evacuate or to hunker down. When the world spirals into chaos, every second counts. The clock is ticking, and with each passing moment the stakes get higher. Whether it's a natural disaster like a hurricane or a man-made crisis like a chemical spill, the question remains the same. Do you pack your bags and run, or do you fortify your fortress and weather the storm? The gravity of this decision cannot be overstated. It's not just about survival in the immediate aftermath of a crisis. It's about the long-term consequences that could follow. The wrong decision could expose you to unnecessary dangers, cut off your escape routes, or leave you stranded without essential resources. But how do you make the right decision when panic sets in and the clock is ticking? The answer lies in understanding the nature of the threats you face, assessing your level of preparedness, and making a calculated decision based on real-time data and forecasts. In the face of crisis, there is no room for indecisiveness. You need a clear head, a solid plan, and the courage to follow through. But fear not, this video is here to guide you through the decision-making process. We'll provide you with the tools and strategies needed to make a well-informed decision, whether you choose to evacuate or hunker down. Remember, in a crisis situation, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better prepared you'll be to make life-saving decisions. So let's arm ourselves with knowledge and face the decision dilemma head-on. In the face of crisis, the decision to evacuate or hunker down could mean the difference between life and death. Let's delve into this further. Every crisis is different. Understanding the nature of the threat is the first step to making an informed decision. Let's start by exploring the two broad categories of crises you might encounter: natural disasters and man-made threats. Natural disasters like hurricanes, floods, and wildfires can be catastrophic, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. These events often give some warning, and evacuation is usually the safest option. When a hurricane is barreling towards your city or a wildfire is creeping closer to your home, there's often a clear sign that it's time to leave. In these situations, timely evacuation can mean the difference between life and death. It's important to recognize these signs and know how to execute a swift and safe escape. On the other hand, man-made threats such as chemical spills, nuclear accidents, or civil unrest present different challenges. These situations can escalate quickly and unpredictably, sometimes making it dangerous or even impossible to evacuate. If a toxic cloud is spreading through your city, or violent riots are erupting on your street, staying put might be the lesser of two evils, but remember, delaying too long could cut off escape routes and expose you to greater dangers. Understanding these threats and being prepared to act swiftly is key. Let's not forget that the severity and impact of these crises can vary greatly. A minor flood might require you to hunker down for a few days, while a major flood could necessitate a complete evacuation. Similarly, a peaceful protest is vastly different from a full-blown riot. The key is to assess the situation accurately and be ready for all possibilities. The nature of the crisis plays a crucial role in determining whether to evacuate or hunker down. But what about your level of preparedness? In the next scene, we'll delve into how your supplies, resources, and home security measures can influence your decision. Remember, every crisis is unique, and your response should be too. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel the mysteries of crisis decision-making. Assessing your preparedness level is essential. It's not just about how much you have, but how long it can last. The first area to evaluate is your supplies and resources. A sufficient stockpile of food, water, and medical supplies is the backbone of any survival plan. But it's not enough to simply have these items. You need to know how long they can sustain you. This means calculating your daily needs and multiplying by the number of days you anticipate being isolated. Remember, water and food aren't the only essentials. Consider other necessities such as medication for chronic conditions, batteries for radios, flashlights, and other gear, and fuel for heating and cooking. Next, don't overlook the importance of home security and fortification. If you decide to stay, your home becomes your fortress. It's crucial to reinforce entry points such as doors and windows to prevent unwanted intrusion. But fortification isn't just about keeping threats out. It's also about creating a sustainable living environment inside your safe zone. This could mean setting up an indoor garden for fresh produce, installing a rainwater collection system for a steady water supply, or even creating a makeshift fallout shelter in your basement for nuclear threats. There are also the soft aspects of preparedness to consider. These include mental readiness and physical fitness. In a crisis, stress levels can spike, and decision-making can become clouded. Mental preparedness involves staying calm, maintaining a positive attitude, and making rational decisions under pressure. Physical fitness, on the other hand, is about being in good health and having the endurance to withstand difficult conditions or long periods of physical exertion, such as when fleeing from danger. Your level of preparedness can tip the scales in favor of staying put or evacuating. Now let's talk about decision-making strategies. When every second counts, having a clear decision-making strategy can save your life. This is where the rubber meets the road in crisis management. It's not just about having a stockpile of resources or a fortified home. It's about making the right decisions at the right time. Risk assessment tools are essential in this process. These tools help analyze the immediate dangers of staying versus evacuating. They can be as simple as a pros and cons list or as detailed as a decision matrix. The goal here is to weigh the potential risks against the potential rewards. For instance, if a wildfire is rapidly approaching your location, the risk of staying might outweigh the potential benefits. On the other hand, if civil unrest is occurring several streets away, perhaps it's safer to stay put rather than risk exposure on the open road. But here's the catch: these tools are only as good as the data they're working with. This is why communication and information management play a vital role in your decision-making process. Staying informed through reliable news sources and local emergency services can greatly influence your decision. In the age of technology, it's easier than ever to stay connected. You can set up emergency alerts on your phone, tune into local radio broadcasts, or even use social media platforms to get real-time updates. However, be cautious about misinformation. During a crisis, rumors can spread like wildfire, leading to panic and poor decision-making. Always verify the information from multiple reliable sources before making any major decisions. And finally, remember that your decision-making strategy isn't set in stone. As the situation evolves, so should your strategy. Be flexible and willing to adjust your plans based on new information. This adaptability could be the key to your survival. Armed with these strategies, you're better equipped to make a calculated decision. But what do these decisions look like? Let's move on to the next scene, where we'll discuss preparing for both outcomes, evacuation and sustainable living in place. Whether you decide to evacuate or hunker down, preparation is key. As we delve deeper into our survival guide, we turn our attention to the importance of preparing for both outcomes. Firstly, let's talk about preparing an evacuation plan. This is not merely about knowing the quickest route out of town. It's about having a comprehensive strategy that includes alternative routes, reliable forms of transportation, and knowing where to head. It's also wise to establish emergency contacts, individuals you can rely on who are outside your immediate area. And let's not forget the Go Bag, a pre-packed emergency kit filled with essentials like food, water, medical supplies, and important documents. This should be lightweight, easy to carry, and ready to grab at a moment's notice. Remember, practice makes perfect. Regularly run drills with your family to ensure everyone knows the plan, from the youngest to the oldest. On the other hand, if you choose to stay put, it's crucial to cultivate self-sufficiency. This means managing resources effectively and finding ways to replenish them. Water harvesting, for instance, can be a lifesaver. Collecting rainwater or dew, purifying it, and storing it for future use can sustain you for extended periods. Energy generation is another aspect to consider. Having alternative energy sources such as solar panels or a hand-crank generator can keep your lights on and your communication devices charged even when the power grid fails. And let's not forget about food. Indoor gardening can provide a steady supply of fresh produce, even in the midst of a crisis. With a little creativity and resourcefulness, you can turn your living space into a self-sustaining ecosystem. Preparation, whether for evacuation or hunkering down, is your greatest ally in a crisis. So arm yourself with knowledge, plan meticulously, and practice regularly. Because in the face of adversity, those who are prepared have the best chance of not just surviving, but thriving. In a world where the unexpected is the new normal, preparedness is the key to survival. We've journeyed through the labyrinth of crisis scenarios, from natural disasters like hurricanes and wildfires, to man-made threats such as chemical spills and civil unrest. Each scenario is unique and each demands a different response to evacuate or hunker down. We have delved into the critical aspects of preparedness, evaluating your stockpile of supplies, fortifying your home for security. These are the elements that will determine your resilience in the face of adversity. Can you sustain yourself for an extended period in isolation? Is your fortress secure enough to withstand potential threats? These are the questions that you must ask yourself. We've explored decision-making strategies, the tools and techniques that can help you analyze the immediate dangers of staying versus evacuating. Risk assessment tools, checklists, decision matrices, these are your compass in the storm, guiding you towards the safest course of action. Staying informed through reliable news sources and local emergency services is crucial. It's your lifeline to the outside world, providing timely updates during a crisis. We've also examined the preparations for both outcomes. An evacuation plan, complete with routes, transportation, and emergency contacts, is your ticket to safety when the time comes to leave. For those who decide to stay, we've discussed how to manage resources, from water harvesting to energy generation and indoor gardening, ensuring self-sufficiency for the long haul. In this journey, we've uncovered the power of preparedness, understanding the nature of the threat, knowing your own capabilities. These are the keys to making the right choice in a crisis. Preparedness is more than having a plan. It's about being adaptable, being resilient, and most importantly, being ready for whatever comes your way. Remember, in the face of crisis, understanding the threat and knowing your capabilities will help you make the right choice. Stay safe, stay prepared, and stay resilient.